Well, tonight, regular season football kicks off as the Kansas City Chiefs face the Detroit Lions to begin the NFL season. With 272 total games spanning over 18 weeks, fans have plenty of action ahead and countless opportunities to bet on the outcome. FanDuel Sportsbook lets football fans place bets and peruse the odds on each matchup in the season. This season, FanDuel's launching FanDuel Explore, simplifying some of that betting experience for fans of all experience levels. FanDuel's Chief Commercial Officer Mike Raffensperger joins us now to discuss more on what to expect this season. Mike, great to speak with you here to kick off the NFL season here. Where does this season kind of stack up against years past when you think of the growth that FanDuel is expecting and the amount of wagers that are placed?
This will be the biggest NFL season for sports betting operators around the United States, bar none. We have the advantage of still being a pretty nascent industry. I mean, literally 5 years ago, the industry didn't exist in America, certainly not in an online fashion. You pretty much had to travel to the desert if you wanted to place a sports book legally. Now you can do it in 19 states on your phone across the country, and many others in retail establishments. So this will be meaningfully larger. There'll be a number of states. This will be their first NFL kickoff they've actually had a chance to place. So places like Maryland and Ohio, this will be the first week one that they've ever been able to place a sports book. Kentucky will be launching later in September on the 28th. And so we are very excited at FanDuel. This is kind of Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July, all wrapped into one. There really is no week in the entire calendar year in terms of getting new customer trial onto a sportsbook. There's nothing quite like NFL kickoff, so we're pretty excited.
Talk to us about that new customer acquisition as well. Where and how have the companies, especially for FanDuel, how has the industry continued to go about that, knowing that there was a lot of kind of costs that were upfront, but now there are more partnerships that have really emerged and made that possible to embrace a new fan?
Yeah, I mean, look, to break it down, it's much like any direct-to-consumer business, out there. We have a certain CAC, a cost of consumer acquisition that we look at, and then a lifetime value of those customers, and that changes depending on the geography. It changes depending on the kind of bets that they place, who they are, and it's a system that we manage over time. I'd say that is industry-wide, particularly at FanDuel, which we're quite proud of in terms of being the market leaders in the space, has continually gotten more and more efficient over time. One of the more interesting changes that I think many of your viewers will probably notice, this season, more and more of our NFL advertising is going into national ad spots. So a few years ago, we just weren't legal in enough states that it made sense to advertise nationally. So you bought in a local Philadelphia DMA, or you bought the New York DMA. Now you're in enough quantum of the country that the media math is just such that it makes more sense to buy nationally when you're in that larger percentage of the country. And so the overwhelming majority of our NFL buy is in national advertising. I believe the same will be the case for DraftKings. We're really the two large national players. Mm-hmm. And so it's just gotten more efficient over time. I think, we feel confident about what we're doing. We've got some really fun partnerships, including one with Sunday Ticket, which for the first time will be available to users on a streaming platform with Google's YouTube and YouTube TV. And so we're really proud of that partnership. We're the only sports book where you can get materially preferred access, $100 off Sunday Ticket if you bet with FanDuel. And so, again, we're excited about the season.
And Mike, when we think about and overlay the kind of betting industry or the amount of wagers that are expected for FanDuel even over the course of this season, and overlay that with the state of the consumer right now, where historically has betting kind of continued to either weather or outlast previous recessions, a recession that we've been talking about for the better portion of a year, and consumers have been just kind of sitting, waiting, seeing exactly what that would mean for their own kind of household expenditures?
Yeah, I think in my parlance, the recession has been betting on the come for a while now. So yeah, I take your drift. Look, we've looked at this pretty extensively. Obviously, in America, we haven't gone through a recession in the time online, wagering has been legal. But if you look at other markets around the globe, fairly consistently, a couple trends emerge. Within sports betting, it does better than average in terms of industry weathering discretionary consumer spending. That wallet stays stickier. And to be a bit colloquial about it, generally people see sports betting as a hobby, and hobbies have more resilience in recessionary environments, and so tends to do rather well. More traditional gaming, so think online casino like blackjack, slots, etc. Those tend to be a little worse than average, and so they're not necessarily a hobby. It's more a form of entertainment, and so that does tend to go along with other sort of discretionary dollars. And so I will certainly not be the person to predict the next 12 months on the macro climate, but generally speaking, I think our business should be doing relatively well, and we have the added benefit if we're just growing, even in a recessionary environment, adding new states. Even in more mature states like in New Jersey, you're still not really at maturity in terms of penetration of the market. It's only been legal for 5 years, and so we do have the good fortune of being a young business. We're experiencing meaningful double-digit growth rates year on year in all markets, and when a new state comes online, it's just a virgin market. That's a quite large influx of new customers, and so I think we're well suited and kind of well situated, I guess I should say, to weather recession.
Mike, we got to go, but if you were a betting man, the player to win the Super Bowl, or excuse me, the team to win the Super Bowl, or the player to win MVP this year?
I am a betting man, but I tend to buy the wisdom of the crowd. So I'll give you the insight in the sports book. So these are the most bets, that have been placed. The Eagles are favorites to win the Super Bowl. They came so close last year. They're about 14% of all the bets on our sports book are for the Eagles to win. And, coincidentally, Jalen Hurts, people are really believing in him to win the MVP. And so he's probably that player that I think he's got about 21% of bets to be the MVP for the year. So there's the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. People are feeling it. So that's where I think I put the money.
And sisterly affection. Don't forget that. City of brotherly love, sisterly affection. We love to hear some of those picks that the FanDuel bettors, the wagers, are making as of right now. Mike Raffensperger, FanDuel Chief Commercial Officer, joining us here to kick off the NFL season. Thanks so much, Mike. We appreciate it.